Namaskar, all the devotees. In the last class, last discourse, we have discussed about Sri Ramakrishna's life. In that, some important features we have discussed. The purpose of Sri Ramakrishna's advent. What for? How incarnations will take place. That we have discussed. The incarnations, they are not coming from somewhere from heaven, somewhere from sky. They take incarnation by the prayer of the devotees. So, all the prayers of the devotees put together, it will take the form of incarnation. That we have discussed. And then what is the purpose of incarnation of God? Purpose is to establish dharma. That we know. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvadi. What we know, we have read in Bhagavad Gita. What is dharma? That also we have discussed. Establishment of dharma means what? Is it just do's and don'ts? Some commandments? No. So, according to our Shastra, establishment of dharma means the goal of human being. What is his goal? To establish ultimate goal of human life. What is that ultimate goal of human life? God realization. That to remind whole mankind, for that God incarnates. Not for, see, this world is Maya that we know, we have read in our Shastra. The world is impermanent. This is not permanent. So you have to seek for permanent bliss. You have to seek for permanent joy. And you have to seek for permanent abode. For that, you have to remove our ignorance. To removing ignorance, that is called establishment of dharma. That is the reason God incarnates. Not for something coming here giving some commandments. Don't do, do's and don'ts. So to establish some rituals, not establishing some customs and traditions. That is not the purpose. See, if you read all incarnations, they never disturbed any tradition. If you study the life of all incarnations, even Buddha, the people say Buddha criticized those days yajna yagas, purvimamsa. It is not that. Buddha, he did not criticize. Just what he said, you seek something which is permanent. For that he was enlightened. This is not the only life. You have to go beyond what you are already practicing. He did not change anything. Sri Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, that is Swami Vivekananda, when he gave lecture in America, after coming from America, during lectures from Colombo to Alma, during his series of lectures, there he says, see, don't go on criticizing what was our previous, our ancestors have done. Okay, they have done certain good things. You go on, you move on. Go on criticizing in previous tradition, customs. It will not use. For those, for that period, it was necessary. Now, you have to grow. You have to elevate yourself for higher thing. That is why, that in our Shastra, Shruti, Smriti, these two things are there. Shruti never changes. Shruti means what? Truth. What is truth? Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. God alone is truth. Everything changes. Smriti means according to need of the age. What is necessary for this age? Smriti is considered to be constitution. Constitution amendments every time happens. The people changes, mind changes, thinking process will change. Accordingly, things will change. So accordingly, you frame set of rules and regulations to run a show, to administrate the society, you require certain rules and regulations so that the things will go on smoothly. But Shruti never changes. Truth never changes. What is truth? Brahman alone is truth. God alone is truth. Consciousness. That consciousness never changes. Upon that consciousness, everything changes. To establish, to remind the society, remind the mankind, the Lord Bhagavan, Paramatma incarnates. See what you are doing, don't entangle, don't get trapped in that same material things. You think something higher. There's something higher. What you are seeing is not the only thing. You have to go beyond your mind, beyond this materialistic world, materialistic life. For that you have to seek. So for that every age, Lord incarnates. So for that only, Paramat, for this age, Sri Ramakrishna, he incarnated. And then, what he did, how Sri Ramakrishna established his dharma for this age. Swami Vivekananda composed beautiful shloka, Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma surupini avatarvarishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. This composed by Swami Vivekananda. Every day we sing here. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma surupini. This is what sarvadharma is very important for this age to understand this. Because if you go in Dwapara Yuga and Treta Yuga, their sarvadharma concept not necessary. The people had sufficient what is dharma, they knew. Their only problem is something when Sri Ramchandra incarnated, only problem with Ravanasura is he knew that all the dharma, what is dharma, adharma. He was a great Pandita. He is a great scholar, Ravanasura. He knew all the four Vedas. But where he lacked, but he completely ignored the reality. He had only intellectual knowledge. He did not go beyond that. Because he was covered by Maya. So there was nothing required to establish something sarvadharma there. In Dwapara Sri Krishna, during Sri Krishna's incarnation also, there was no conflict, such type of conflict. Because only this adharma, very unruly, who was Duryodhana. Duryodhana, he followed all the rules. See, difference between Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, problem is, he knew dharma. Ravanasura, he was following all the dharmas. But there was no proper rule. Just he goes and he kidnaps Sri Ramakrishna's wife. Your wife is my wife. That is, become something like unruly. When you come to Dwapara Yuga, the difference between Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, this Duryodhana was following all the rules. He was practically, if you read Mahabharata, if you understand that the Duryodhana's conduct, he was following all the rules. Even while playing, somehow he tricking, all this he has done, but he followed the rules. But no principle. Where he failed, Duryodhana completely failed in principle. See, rules should not dictate us. Rules should help us to grow. To help us to make human being. Any rules and regulations in the society, if you implement any rules, some constitution, it should help the people. It should help us to coordinate and brotherlyhood. All those things should bring. If that particular rules or particular constitution does not bring this harmony in the society, brings conflict, then what will happen? You may follow all the rules, but you will become completely inhuman. That is not the purpose. By the rules you cannot establish any society. Only society can be established, only dharma. Dharma is different from rules. We generally misunderstand what is something is written in the particular, you have to follow like this. It is not like that. Sanatana, that's why the difference between other religion and Sanatana, this is the way the difference. Sanatana Dharma means you have to follow principles that what all those principles should help us to get freedom. Man should get freedom, moksha. That is dharma. So all whatever wherever you position in the society, you may be anything, whatever may be the position in the society, but whatever you do, you follow your duty sincerely. With that same duty will lead you to the moksha. That is the idea behind. So, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, these problems are different. But what about Kali Yuga? In this Yuga, what is the problem? There in Treta Yuga, Rakshasa Ravanasara. In Dwapara Yuga, Kamsa, these Rakshasas. Here, Rakshasa is the greatest Rakshasa for this age, Samshaya, doubt. This is the greatest Rakshasa. Swami Vivekananda beautifully composed. Shakti Samudda Samudda Tarangam. Samshaya Rakshasam Asha Mahastram. Sri Ramakrishna incarnate to remove that Rakshasa. Who is that Rakshasa? Demon called doubt. Every step we doubt everything. In this age, the greatest doubt, what I believe that is right, what he believes that is wrong. And in every life, every lifetime, every system, every moment, we doubt someone. We doubt teachers, we doubt father, we doubt mother, we doubt wife, wife doubts husband, husband doubts wife. Like this, not only in the society, even in the religion also. Lot of conflicts. For this age, full of confusion. So, Sri Ramakrishna, that is why you have to, before reading Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we are going to read, main subject is, our topic is Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna and his teachings. So, what is the reason for this Gospel? That is what I am giving this background. So, we have to understand that what was the situation when Sri Ramakrishna incarnated. At that time, when Sri Ramakrishna incarnated, one side full of superstitions, completely immersed in superstitions. Another side completely westernized, materialistic. And the one side completely poverty. People don't have nothing to eat. That was the situation. You know, 1836, we are still under the control of Britishers. That was the condition. And then each one, within the Hinduism itself, people are conflict between Shaivas, Vaishnavas, Shaktas, full of confusion. Each one has got own theory, but no one has realized that reality. And the other thing, apart from the Hinduism, conflict between Hinduism and other religion coming attacking, so many invasions, fighting one another. That was the situation in the society. So that time, to establish what is reality, Dharma, to establish Dharma, Sri Ramakrishna didn't have nothing to fight against any demons here. Demon is doubt only, Samshaya Rakshasa. Each one is having own doubt. A materialist, atheist, they doubt the traditions. And these people, they doubt no scientific mentality, scientific temperament was not there. All those conflicts were going on. And then because of Western influence, people have become more and more westernized and ridiculing all the traditions, one side. Too much, one side ridiculing these things, another side too much of superstition. To reconcile properly, Sri Ramakrishna had to practice what is religion. See, just if I give all religion is okay, all religion is one. If you, whatever reading some books, for finding some similarities and telling it is okay, who will listen? Reading from book and giving some logical and some intellectual lecture if you give, all religions, is it okay? Is it possible to believe everything? There many main problem is people are doubting whether God exists. That was the sin. Just I am telling you, some Rakshasa doubt. The people themselves, they are doubting whether God exists or not. This was a great challenge for Sri Ramakrishna for this age. It was a great challenge. Rama and Krishna, that was not a big problem. For them, there was no much problem. The society was somewhat, they are all believers. They knew, and even Rakshasa also they realized, they became jnanis. Even Rakshasa, those days, those period. But for this age, because lifespan is very short, for Kali Yuga's lifespan is very short, and then completely immersed in materialism. Whatever I see, whatever I listen, that only I believe. That is the thing. Another problem is, in this religion means only belief. What I believe, that is true. That is the situation in this Kali Yuga. That is why, what I believe, that is true. So, what you believe, that is not true. Fighting one and conflict one another. Fighting each other. At that time, Sri Ramakrishna he did not come something like a sermon. All religions were same. You should not fight. He did not tell like this. He did not preach anything. You should be alive. Nothing. He did not come to we think that Sri Ramakrishna has come to harmonize the religion. No. Sri Ramakrishna, this avatar has come to remind us God is the only reality. God is the only reality. What Advaita Shankaracharya says, in Advaita, in what Upanishad says, Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. Why are you fighting for this? This impermanent. Why are you fighting for material things? Why are you fighting for land, children, husband, wife? Why are you fighting for this? Do your duty and always keep it in your mind that these things are all not permanent. The only permanent thing is Paramatma alone. This is your duty. We have taken this birth. We have given by the grace of Lord, by the grace of Paramatma, we have taken this human birth. The human birth. What is the purpose of human birth? God realization. So how to make them understand God is alone, God alone is truth. How can you say? Have you seen God? So many people give lectures outside, all everything, but who has realized? We quote from many scriptures, Upanishads, all those things. But what is mentioned in the scriptures, one has to realize it. That was the task before Sri Ramakrishna. That was the task before this incarnation, this God. Great challenge. So that is why, for that, Swami Vivekananda, why Swami Vivekananda said, Sri Ramakrishna Avatara Varishta, why he has told Avatara Varishta? It was a great challenge because of that. It was a great challenge because Kali Yuga is not simple like Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga. Because people are so intellectual. Everything is really advanced. So, material advancement is there. You may see technology advancement is there. Become more and more intellectual. For this age, we cannot say that they are not intellectuals. But they have got certain, already some realization was there. Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga. Not like these people. Because everything is confused state. This whole Kali Yuga is confused state. Confused Yuga. Full of confusion. To remove this confusion, Sri Ramakrishna has to practice all the religions. He took up Tantra, 64 Tantras he practiced. And Advaita Sadhana he did. Not just reading. He was absolutely unlettered. He never went to school. He went to school only to play, that's all. He did not study any Shastras. But All the Shastra, what is mentioned in Shastra, he practiced by himself. He practiced by himself. He practiced himself. All Sant Sadhana did. This is not possible. It's for work. That is why when Swami Vivekananda, when Sri Ramakrishna, before his passing away, when he was in Kashipur garden, when he was suffering from cancer, that time Naren, Swami Vivekananda, just he was thinking in his mind, at this moment, my Guru, Sri Ramakrishna, says, I am Avatara, then I only accept. He was thinking, not even expressing. Just he was thinking. At that time, oh Naren, still you have doubt. Because even, Swami Vivekananda himself is such a great personality. He himself had doubt. That is why it is Samshaya Rakshasa. That is why Swami Vivekananda composed beautiful song, Samshaya Rakshasa. Even a great personality like Swami Vivekananda had a doubt. That is the power of this Kali Yuga Maya. Power of this Maya, doubt. At that time, Sri Ramakrishna, what he said, oh Naren, still you have doubt. You who was Rama in the Treta Yuga, you who was Krishna in the Dwapara Yuga, for this stage, and Sri Ramakrishna, not in your Vedantic sense, he said. That this is should be very noted. Because according to Vedanta, everything is Brahman. Everybody is Brahman. Everyone is God. Rama also Brahman, I am also Brahman. So, because Swami Vivekananda, by that time already he was completely Advaitic. Actually, when he come to Sri Ram, before coming to Sri Ramakrishna, he was a member of Brahma Samaj. He was very much vehemently opposed. He is opposing this Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. But the same Sri Ramakrishna made Swami Vivekananda staunch Advaiti. Before coming to Sri Ramakrishna, he was against Advaita. What nonsense! This tumbler also Brahman, this table also Brahman, nonsense he was telling. Then at that time when he was mocking about this theory about Brahman, Sri Ramakrishna suddenly came and touched him. And he lost his all consciousness. Everything, all whatever you're seeing, all chairs, everything, building, all things disappearing, everything disappeared. He shouted, what you are doing? I have parents. He shouted. Then he lost his own individuality. Brahman, that is, Sri Ramakrishna shown him what is reality. You are mocking. You are mocking this Brahma, all is everything is Brahman. You are mocking. See, I will show you. Just see it. One touch, lost consciousness. External, completely lost consciousness. About 3 days, he was in that state, Naren. When he went back to his house, was taking food, continuously go on eating. Then what happened? Then his mother, Bhuvneshwar Devi, what happened this my Naren? Why he is behaving like this? Go on eating. Otherwise, simply sitting like this. One day he was going on the street. The tram was coming. He was just standing around. Somebody pulled him. And then while going, that bar with railings with it, doing exercise, railings. Whether I have body or not, he went and hitting himself, taking his head, hitting at that railing. The blood was oozing. That oozing or that pain was not there. That was the state event. No pain, but blood was oozing. Completely lost his individuality. Then Sri Ramakrishna shown this is the reality. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya means. When you realize this, no suffering will come. That is why people, what for we are suffering, what for we are working, why we are earning money, you have to be happy. You have to lead happy life. You should not say nobody. If anybody is there in this world, I want to be unhappy. Nobody is there. Everybody wants to be happy only. To earning money also, to earn happiness. I should have secure life, happy life to lead. Because nobody wants to suffer. So, but in spite of that, we are suffering. In spite of earning money, we are suffering. Isn't that? Even rich people, even Ambani also, like Reliance Ambani also, he will also have suffering. Is it not? Naturally, because person who has got money, how to safeguard my money, wealth, will be suffering. Person who doesn't have any wealth, that doesn't have money, how to earn money, that's suffering. The continuous of suffering in this world. In spite of wealth, we are suffering. But nobody wants to suffer. Why? How that I don't want to suffer, that idea, where it comes? I want to be happy. Where this idea comes? The idea is, your nature itself is happiness. Because your nature, you are basically, in reality, you are happiest person. But we are searching that happiness somewhere outside. Go inside. So if you go inside, there is no suffering at all in this universe. There is no suffering at all in this world. That experience, Sri Ramakrishna, by one touch, Narendranath, he lost his consciousness, saw enlightenment. To prove this, Sri Ramakrishna had to practice all those things. Why? Simply, see, Sri Ramakrishna, we accept that Sri Ramakrishna is Avatara. What is the necessary for him to all this practice? Because we are in Kali Yuga. Just now I told Kali Yuga, full of doubts. Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram. Full of doubts. Everything is doubt. So for that, I am experienced. Who will believe? Suppose Sri Ramakrishna says, I have experienced, I have seen God. Who will believe? Swami Vivekananda himself did not believe. How many times he tested Sri Ramakrishna? Not only Swami Vivekananda, don't think that only Swami Vivekananda tested Sri Ramakrishna. Even other disciples also, they tested Sri Ramakrishna. Genuine, whether what he is telling is right or wrong. So, to remove this doubt, Sri Ramakrishna was forced to do all this sadhana. 64 Tanta sadhana, Advaita sadhana. And then, apart from this, what other religion people, what they are thinking, what those Islamic sadhana, Christian sadhana, all this what he did, ultimately what he said, all the paths will lead to same goal. All the sadhana, jatomat, tatopat. As many faiths, so many paths. Not that, he did not say that all the religions are same. He did not say that. You cannot make, you cannot make one route to, suppose you want to go from Calcutta, from Chennai to Delhi, you cannot make road, flight, everything, make one route. Is it possible? Each has got different routes are there. So many roads are there. But all roads will lead to same place. It doesn't mean that all the roads are same. He did not say like this. People try to say that, all the paths are same. Not like that. Each one has got uniqueness that according to each temperament, person can follow whatever he likes. Whatever path he likes, he can follow sincerely. If he follows sincerely, with Shraddha, he can attain. That is what Sri Ramakrishna wanted to show. For that reason, he practiced all the religions. Is it possible for any normal human being to practice all this sadhana? It's impossible. That is why Romarola, the great French writer, Nobel laureate, he says, Sri Ramakrishna, he practiced 2000 years of sadhana, is a consummation of 2000 years of sadhana of 30 million people's 2000 years of sadhana in one lifetime. Sri Ramakrishna practiced, he says. 30 million people of this nation, for their 2000 years of sadhana, in one lifetime, Sri Ramakrishna practiced. Is it possible for any normal human being to practice? It's not possible. For that reason, Sri Ramakrishna says Avatara, why Sri Ramakrishna is Avatara? What is the difference between Avatara? Yes, from Vedantic point of view, everything is Brahman. All are Brahman only. Right? From the amoeba to highest saint are Brahman only. But manifestation differs. How the manifestation differs from amoeba to human being, similarly, the Avatara, the manifestation of the highest Paramatma differs from normal saint to avatars. That is how. Of course, once you realize you will become one with that avatara. That is different. One with that Brahman. That is different. That is why for that Sri Ramakrishna, not only that, after practicing this all sadhanas, how to teach, how to impart this knowledge to the people. Because once you realize that Nirvikalpa, because it is very difficult. That's why I told. It is a great challenge for Sri Ramakrishna to impart this knowledge to the society. Because every now and then he is to go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. If he goes to zoo, he saw lion and goes to ecstasy. Bringing that mind towards normal, it was so difficult for him. For normal human being, for normal sadhaka, that realization goes when he reaches to the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna himself says, if any normal human being, if he goes to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, within 21 days he will give up his body. But only it was it was possible for Sri Ramakrishna to come down to the normal plane. That is why after realizing Nirvikalpa Samadhi by practicing under Totapuri, 3 days he did not come down. 3 days he was in that Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna. After that he became normal. Then again mother appeared to him. Baba, you remain Bhavamukha. Bhavamukha. The Bhavamukha is not completely merged in the highest reality and not completely under material world. He will remain in a normal middle plane, not completely trapped under this material world. He will not not attached to the world. At the same time, he will not merge in that Brahman. See, in between state, that is called Bhavamukha. Because of that Bhavamukha place, you could give this knowledge. So after realizing what he did, Sri Ramakrishna, because avatars, enlightened being, once you get knowledge, once you get that realization, it is natural for them whom to tell. Because suppose, for example, Archimedes principle, some petition came, on goldsmith, he brought whether he has used pure gold or not. So how to discover whether he has used proper gold or not? Then suddenly while taking bath, he came, intuitively got the knowledge, that principle, the theory. Then he rushed, oh, Eureka, he shouted and running, even with forgetting about his dress. So even normal material knowledge itself is so much joy. Person who has realized that highest reality, highest bliss, how much joy, how much compassion will overflow from his heart, that you are doing. For that reason, after realizing, Sri Ramakrishna, day and night, he was gone weeping. Oh mother, you told me people will come and listen. Because so much he was paining. Whom to tell? People are suffering. I have to give them. I have to show them the way. Get out of this, from this suffering. He was so much restless. In the same Dakshineshwar, when you go to Dakshineshwar, where Sri Ramakrishna room is there, just opposite Kuti, one building is there. On the top of that Kuti, Sri Ramakrishna, you shout, oh my children, where are you? Please come, he was shouting. Even Buddha also, after realizing, after getting enlightenment, he was became restless. He was pacing from here and there continuously. I have to tell what I got knowledge, what enlightenment I have got, I have to give it to people. That is why, because that I have discovered something permanent, some joyful thing. Once normal people, if they get this knowledge, they will also become happy. The people unnecessary of going for the material joy, again they are getting, they are trapping in, they are getting, they are suffering. Again and again they are suffering in search of going towards materialism, materialist thing. How to bring them to get this knowledge? How to give real joy? So much become restless. Buddha also. And similarly, that is why these great saints, when they get knowledge, their compassion, love, it will overflow. That is why when Swami Vivekananda, when he was in Belur, suddenly one night, in the next room, Swami Vivekananda, another brother disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, Swamiji, Swami Vivekananda was residing in another room. Swamiji was there in particular room. Suddenly at the dead of night, maybe around 2 o'clock or 12 o'clock, suddenly Swamiji was weeping. So much suffering, rolling and weeping. Oh, and what happened? Something, maybe he is suffering some physical ailment. He thought, Swami Vivekananda came out of his room and knocked and opened. Swamiji, what happened? Why are you weeping? Any pain in you? Anything happened? Any physical pain or suffering? No, not for that. Somewhere, some people are suffering, wailing, crying. I can feel that Nityananda could not understand what happened. And next day morning, a newspaper came as a big earthquake in Japan. So many people died. How come Swami Vivekananda could feel that suffering? Because once any person realizes that highest reality, they become one with that reality. They see oneness. That is why, that is Vasudeva Kutumbakam means people will quote Vasudeva Kutumbakam, whole world is one family. What does it mean? Because whole universe is one with that one reality. That is the meaning. Whatever is your difference, that is ignorance. Remove that ignorance, then you will become one with this universe, one with that reality. So similarly, once they get knowledge, that compassion, love will overflow. They cannot restrain that compassion. They cannot restrain that love. They feel to give that love. That is real love. That is what similarly happened to Sri Ramakrishna after realizing God, after having the darshan of Divine Mother, after doing all these sadhanas, all types of sadhanas, then he wanted to impart that, give that knowledge to the people, that overflowing that compassion, love, all those things. Slowly when he was go on crying, weeping for that mothers, Divine Mother sent one by one, all direct disciples, Naren, then direct disciples, other disciples, Mathurnath Vishwas, all those people. Then similarly, the great man, now we are going to study the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the same Master Mahashya started coming. One by one people are started coming. First, Keshav Chandra Sen, person who published about Sri Ramakrishna in Mirror magazine, in Brahma Samaj magazine about Sri Ramakrishna. So slowly one by one started coming. Then after when started coming, after realizing, see, that is why Sri Ramakrishna had a great challenge to establish dharma for this age. Establish dharma in Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga is not so difficult for Rama or Krishna. To establish dharma in this Kali Yuga is very difficult. It was great task for Sri Ramakrishna. For that reason, Sri Ramakrishna had to practice all these things. Because who will accept? Suppose if I say, I realize God, who will believe? Prove it. How to prove it? That is, for that, to whatever Sri Ramakrishna realized, to authenticate, to prove that the same Divine Mother, same Paramatma has sent another person, same Paramatma himself has come in another form, that is Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, before coming to Sri Ramakrishna, he went everyone. He goes to Devendranath Thakur, Vishwachandra, all those people going on asking, have you seen God? Have you seen God? Each one gave their own way version of God, their own version of theory. Nobody gave proper answer. First time Naren came to Sri Ramakrishna. What he asked, have you seen God? First time he is hearing, have you seen God? What he said, Sri Ramakrishna? Yes, I have seen God. As I am seeing you, more clear. I have seen God as I am seeing you, rather more clearly. What is that? This is very important, because we are not seeing anything clearly. I am talking to you not clearly. I am seeing to you, or you are seeing to me not clearly, because we are using some instrument. Now I am using not only instrument of mic, instrument of mouth, mind. With so many instruments I am talking to you. Nobody in this world, two persons having any knowledge, direct knowledge, indirect knowledge only. That is why in the Shastra Pramana, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi, and Shabda Pramana. These 5 types of Pramanas are there. Pratyaksha means the contact between Pratyaksha, Jnana. That means knowledge getting through senses, contact between the senses and the object, sense objects. Through that we get knowledge. That is one type of knowledge. But here, that means the knowledge you are getting through your senses, it is not direct knowledge. You have to understand this. That is why when Swami Vivekananda asked Sri Ramakrishna, have you seen God? What does it mean? Yes, I have seen as I am seeing you. More clear means, it is not, God cannot be seen from these senses. God cannot be perceived through mind, because God is beyond mind, because He is subjective, not object. We can meditate, we can know about this. Here glass is there, table is there. I can do this objective knowledge. All this knowledge, chair, all this objective knowledge. But how to know this subjective knowledge? Because God is your own. Because whole universe, Brahma Satya, there is a dharma, establishment of dharma means God alone is real. There is a Swami Sri Ramakrishna, when he asks, will God exist? What will be the answer? What will be the answer from him? Whether God exists, what he says, God only exists. If anybody asks, God exists, you believe in God, what you have to say? God only exists, nothing else exists. You have to say, God only exists. If you understand this, if God only exists, there will not be any conflict between us. You don't fight with each other. That is how we can harmonize. You can live with harmony with other people. Otherwise, if you see difference, then only fight. The same, Adi Shankara, Ramanuja, there may be different, but truth is one. Whatever they taught, that truth is one. So, their theory, their commentaries in different angle they have given, but Sri Ramakrishna, all those theories, they harmonized, and he practiced himself and realized in his own life and shown. This is what? This is the reality. See. So to teach what he had realized, how to convey this, you require, because Sri Ramakrishna already 12 years he has practiced and completely tired. Completely, so much of sadhana he has done. It is not, further no time for him to go on giving lecture. He did not give lecture. So, how to impart? You require some media to give that, to convey that what he had realized. So slowly people came. For that, he selected. Because here, Sri Ramakrishna not only for sannyasis. He established one group of people, sannyasa, monastic group. Another group, householders. So he harmonized both, because earlier what was the concept? Some the sannyasa life is something higher, householder life is something lower. That was the idea. Sri Ram, no, each one is great in his own place. Anybody can realize God in this world, in this life. It is not sole property of any sannyasis. Realization of God is not only for sannyasis. It is not our own property. It's everybody's property. God is everyone. So he harmonized. So how to harmonize? How to living in the household life? How one can realize God? Sri Ramakrishna showed. He himself, he became, though he was an ideal householder, at the same time ideal sannyasi. That was the greatness. See, because for this age, it is how great challenge, you see. It is very tough. For Sri Ramakrishna, it was a great challenge he has taken. Paramatma, God has taken great challenge to establish dharma for this age. So, Sri Ramakrishna practiced all this sadhana, and then slowly he appointed Mahendranath Gupta, Master Mahashaya is popularly called. And how he came to Sri Ramakrishna, that we'll see in the next class. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Today, Palaharani Kali Puja, just before concluding, Sri Ramakrishna just now was telling, all these sadhanas he has done. Not only that, after all his sadhanas, he offered to same Paramatma in the form of Holy Mother. That very same day, Palaharani, today is a Palaharanika. Palaharani means all the Palas. Mother, Divine Mother, who destroys all the Palas, very good or bad, both are bondage also. Very good Pala, good result, or bad result, both will lead to the bondage. Establishing, just now I am telling about dharma, just going to realize Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya, to understand, to get the knowledge of God realization, you have to go beyond good and bad. Who can take us to the beyond this good and bad? Only Divine Mother can do it. So, because of her grace, so I got all this knowledge. That was the submission by Sri Ramakrishna on this day. So what Sri Ramakrishna did? Sri Ramakrishna, he did not go to temple on the particular this day, Palaharani Kali Puja day. He was in Dakshineshwar. In Dakshineshwar temple, the puja was going on, Divine Mother Puja. Sri Ramakrishna worshipped Holy Mother the very same day. And on this day, Holy Mother completely went into deep samadhi. Whole thing, just like how he used to worship in the Dakshineshwar Kali temple, similarly he worshipped Holy Mother. With all his power, he transferred to the Holy Mother. So Holy Mother is much more greater than Sri Ramakrishna. Why I am telling? Because Sri Ramakrishna had to practice all this sadhana, but for Holy Mother not necessarily do any sadhana. Because she already possessed with all these powers. She had already possessed all the powers to uplift her disciples, her devotees. To uplift us, she has come. Sri Ramakrishna, because only Sri Ramakrishna without Holy Mother, it is very difficult for us. Because of Holy Mother, so we are sitting here. Because of Holy Mother, we are sadhus are here. Because of Holy Mother, we people, devotees are coming to us. Otherwise, if Sri Ramakrishna would have practiced and gone, then where is the Math? Where is the Ramakrishna Math? Nobody will reveal. No Ramakrishna Math, no Ramakrishna mission at all. So no spiritual devotion. That's why Sri Ramakrishna comes and goes, that's all. That was the behind that Divine Mother herself has come in the form of Holy Mother. That very same day, Sri Ramakrishna worshipped Holy Mother and offered all his sadhana phala, the result of his sadhana, fruit of his actions, everything offered at her feet. So, just to inform you, I took up this. Thank you. We will take up in the next class.